Welcome back to another episode of The Average Uninformed. This week we are talking about movies that you probably haven't seen. So grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy. Oh, but there is that situation though where it's the other way around, where you introduce yourself, but you've already met before. That happened me last week.
Yeah.
Way awkward. Blah, blah, blah. My name's Victor. Nice to meet you. It's like, oh, we've met before. Oh, I don't remember you at all. Usually I remember faces. You, not so much.
Yeah. I don't know. That kind of social interaction, it never bothers me. It's more like later on when I've said something, it'll be like 10 years later. And I'll be like, I can't believe you said that.
Oh, 10 years, man. I don't have to wait that long.
You're such an idiot back then.
Because then you can say, yeah, you can just say, oh, I was such an idiot back then. I was so young and naive. But like for me, like a week ago, I said this. I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm an idiot. I am currently still an idiot.
Yeah, but I have no problem with that. Like if I was be like, hey, nice to meet you. And they're like, actually, we've met. I'd be like, huh, guess I didn't remember you. Like I would just say that to their face. I have no qualms with that.
I still feel a little bit guilty and weird, but I went to meet a client on Wednesday, wore my like nice white t-shirt and these like nice slacks.
Uh-huh.
It's good.
Did you wear suspenders?
I did not, but it's a good look. I hadn't eaten all day. It was probably about 4 o'clock. So I was like, you know what? I'm at Canadian Tire picking out some stuff. I'm going to grab a hot dog.
Mm-hmm. I know the end of the story.
Oh yeah. I got through the end, I got through the end of the hot dog. There's a little bit of like relish and onion left. And I was like, I did pretty good. I'm thinking to myself, I did pretty good. Didn't get any stains. As I said stains in my head, an onion fell and rolled right down from like just above my nipple all the way down to my pants. There was a trail of relish and mustard.
Excellent.
Luckily, I had my camping sweater in the truck. The first thing the client says to me, were you at a campfire?
You stink. You smell like burnt wood.
Because I'm so hot. It's so hot right now.
See, I think I would own it. I still would put the camping sweater on, but if they questioned it and be like, well, it's because, and then just lift up the shirt and be like, there's just a giant food stain. I went in for a job interview once and I had to walk there from Union Station.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a 15-minute walk and it was a lot hotter than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And like, I'm wearing like a nice outfit for it. So I came in like all sweaty. And so I remember just owning it being like, it's a lot hotter than I thought it was going to be. Because like the entire interview, like it looked like I was really nervous. It was like George Costanza where he sweats twice. It was just like, it's just like wiping my brow and stuff. But I got the job. So there you go.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, yeah, let's hire the sweaty guy.
Yeah, the sweaty guy. Anyways, you want to jump into news this week?
Was that it? Were you all done with the ketchup? You want some ketchup?
No, you know what? I still want ketchup on my sandwiches.
Oh. So gross. Well then.
Sorry, I'm just
perusing the internet
for the things. I was going to do this earlier. Just grab
but then you didn't. So you decided to do it while we're recording.
Hey, you were telling a story. I was listening.
Were you?
Of course I was. You were talking about like Godzilla, right? Anyways, and that is why I like ketchup on my sandwiches.
Okay, well, let's talk, Victor. Let's do some news. First off, Rip Torn passed away this week.
Why does that sound familiar?
You would know him as Zed from the Men in Black movies.
Oh.
Or Patches O'Houlihan from Dodgeball.
Oh, I forgot he was in Dodgeball.
Yeah, he was hysterical.
Weird.
He was the dad in Freddy Got Fingered. Did you ever watch that?
I watched the ending of it. Mm-hmm. It was the first time I ever saw it. I watched the ending of it and he was jerking the elephant off.
I don't know. That was like my screensaver for a while.
That's why we're not
That
friends
was a joke. That was a joke. Anyway, he passed away at 88 this week.
That makes sense.
And yeah, so that's too bad. But you know what? He died peacefully, apparently. So you know what? This is unrelated. I kind of hate it when people say rest in power.
What is that? What does that mean?
You know how like instead of saying rest in peace?
Sure.
And people say rest in power.
That's stupid.
I don't know what it means, I think, for the first part, but I think it's supposed to be like, you were a powerful man. You deserve something better than rest in peace. That's how I read it as. So anyway, that's too bad. But I think he had a pretty good career.
Yeah, I think so.
He had the coolest name ever. Rip Torn.
I mean, it is. At the same time, it's...
I mean, I'm sure he was bullied a lot as a kid.
There's no way he wasn't.
Cool as an adult.
Like, is it spelled R.I.P.?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
100% that was a joke in the family.
You're like, what should we call him?
What goes with Torn?
His brother's name is Shred.
Oh, that's amazing. I know it's not true, but...
Anyway, the man died, Victor, and he leaves behind a legacy of really interesting and really weird film roles.
Yeah, he's kind of all over the place in terms of like genres. Well, I guess they're all comedies, but
yeah,
it's interesting.
Shall we move on?
Let's move on.
Storm Reid, who was the lead in A Wrinkle in Time. Did you watch that when that came out? I think that was earlier this year, maybe last year.
I don't think so. Let's think about it. I don't.
She's about like 16 years old. She's a young actress, probably about yay high.
3 feet?
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, she has been cast in Suicide Squad as Idris Elba's daughter.
Who's Idris Elba playing?
I don't know.
Good.
I don't know. Like, cause didn't Will Smith's character have a daughter in the first one?
Yeah, he did.
And they've said repeatedly he's not playing Deadshot, right?
Well, I mean, if they hired a new daughter, then it can't be Deadshot because Deadshot already had a daughter they cast. Just cast the same daughter.
I just mean it seems a little similar.
Well, you know what? Maybe the Suicide Squad has to have like a very specific role for a leader.
You have to have a daughter and you have to be a disgraced criminal.
Yeah.
Who's captured by Batman. Yeah. Anyway, so she's in there. She's joining Idris Elba, Margot Robbie, Jai Courtney, David Desmalchin.
I don't know what that is. I'm kidding. It's fine. Move on.
Okay. Boom, ba-dum, boom, boom, boom. Boy, we're blasting through news. Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
That's coming out. Disney Plus next year.
Got some cool writer, didn't it?
It did. Derek Kolstad
of
John Wick.
Oh, yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So he's joining maybe the writing team. They didn't really establish like what he's doing on the show. He could be showrunner. He could be just in the writing room.
He could be star actor.
His first acting role, but go ahead, give him a Marvel project. No experience, no interest at all.
Of course he does. He's probably starring as like Captain America.
I thought that's what Falcon was doing. Do you think they're going to rename the show Captain America? But I just mean like when they announced it, it was before Endgame came out and before anyone knew that he had given the shield to Falcon.
No.
So do you think that's a fake name and they're just going to call the show Captain America?
No, because I feel like they want to separate the two.
Okay.
I think Falcon and Winter Soldier makes sense because folks
are on the nose.
So is WandaVision.
Yeah, they didn't even put a space in there or an and.
Oh, how do you think they're going to do Vision? Do you think that's going to be like a prequel? Have we talked about this?
No, not since Endgames because we omitted talking about all the TV shows.
I guess we assumed that Vision would come back.
Yeah, we both did. Yeah. I've heard that it's going to be a little bit like House of M and a little bit like, did you ever read that Vision miniseries where he like created a nuclear family?
Yeah. Well, I read the first.
Like the first like 6 issues, like the graphic.
First issue. I read the first issue. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't remember any of it.
So I've heard it's like a mix of that so that like Wanda will not handle Vision being gone really well. And so she like creates a new reality where they have a family together or something. I have no idea if that's true or if that's just some speculating.
I mean, that would explain WandaVision. That's her vision.
Oh, it's like a double meaning.
Whoa.
I had a thought that the Loki series, now that we know that Loki is alive, or a Loki is alive, like the one that got the Tesseract in Endgame and disappeared.
Yeah.
It's not going to be at all. But I thought it'd be cool if that was like a Captain America show. And it was Chris Evans, Captain America, chasing him through time because he has to put the Tesseract back to the proper time because Loki was not supposed to get the Tesseract.
That'd be really cool.
And then meanwhile, like he's delivering the rest of the Infinity Stones back to where they go.
Honestly, I'm still curious how he got from Earth to wherever the hell he needs to go to, like through Asgard and like the other planets.
Wait a second. Because they could send them anywhere in the world at any time with that machine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In Endgame, Nebula, Rhodey, Nat, and Hawkeye, they all take a ship, right, to Vormir or
Vormir and wherever that weird planet.
Morak. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Thor and Rocket just appear on Asgard.
Yes.
So how did they get there? Did they fly to Asgard or did they just appear there?
Probably just appeared there.
And also, well, it doesn't matter though, right? Because at the end, they're just like, okay, we're done here. Boop, boop. And then they just disappear. And they end up back in
I think they
New
traveled
York.
together in those groups because it was like they go traveling to same like different years.
But I don't care about the years. It's more like they're going through space, not just time. So why did they bother taking a ship? Because they could just appear there.
Huh. Damn. Because they need to add another 15 minutes to the timeline.
Yeah. All right, whatever. It works. I didn't think about it in the movie, so it works. What were we talking about? Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yes.
That one is probably like the one I'm most interested in.
Same.
Because they got, what's his face? Zemo coming back.
Is Widow in that one?
No, because she's dead.
Right.
But Sharon Carter is going to be in it.
Oh, did you hear the Russo brothers confirm that at one point there was 2 Caps in the MCU original timeline?
One of them was frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah. Do you like that? You like that when directors or writers give like a definitive answer to something that like fans argue about?
I like it when they do it with another movie.
Like
I'm not saying like put an entire movie based around that idea, but just a small confirmation in another movie.
And not just like say it in an interview. So it's official, but it's like only a certain type of person would get that.
Well, yeah, like for example, with the Tom Holland thing, do you remember a few years back, he said in an interview that Kevin Feige told him that he was the little kid that Iron Man saves in Iron Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one that's wearing the Iron Man helmet, like the toy helmet. And that has never come up in a movie. So it's like, well, why did you even bother telling us that?
That's like details after the fact that yeah.
Like it does, it adds a little bit to it, but it doesn't, you know
I see
what I mean?
What you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like if the general audience isn't going to find out about it, then it's not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like,
I don't know. It's a cool anecdote, but at the same time, it's just like, who cares? It's just so like some nerd can be like, yeah, did you know?
Like us.
Yeah. Yeah, like us. Victor, did you hear about some casting for The Little Mermaid?
Yeah.
People are losing their minds.
Honestly, all I care, like I saw the actress. I can't remember who it is. Do you know?
It's a young actress named Halle Bailey.
Oh,
which sounds like
it's like
it sounds like you're saying Halle Berry with a speech impediment.
If anything, it's Halle Berry sounds like the one with the speech impediment.
Right?
How do you feel about it?
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the controversy is that Disney is remaking The Little Mermaid, and they have cast their Ariel, which is a young actress named Halle Bailey, who is a young black woman. Anyway, so some people are losing their minds. Hashtag not my Ariel.
Wasn't that hashtag used somewhere else? Not my hashtag. Not my.
I don't know. It's been used quite a bit. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the original use of it. I don't have a problem with it. It's a fish.
Whoa, she is not a fish, Josh.
She's a mermaid. It's a fish.
Half fish.
So how do you come down on this? Do you wish she was white?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the fish thing. I don't care.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I understand. Like if they cast Peter as like an Asian dude. Peter Parker for Spider-Man. If they cast Spider-Man as an Asian dude, I'd be like, what? Like, why? Why would you do that?
See, I don't really have a problem with that either.
But like you're, I don't know, it just feels like you're changing a large part of that character. But for The Little Mermaid, I don't really care that much.
Well, yeah, I think we've talked about it before, but my thought is always you can change the race as long as the race isn't inherently important to the character.
Yeah. As long as she has like the bright red flowing hair in the water, I'd be happy.
Why does that matter?
Because that's part of her image, like the red hair in the ocean. It's always cool. It's a cool visual. Because like you see her and it's like, yep, that's definitely Ariel because of the red hair. Because no other character in that movie has red hair, right?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen a Little Mermaid.
I've only seen it once when it came out on VHS.
Wow, it's gonna be like 1994 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I just I don't understand. I mean, I understand why people are mad because there's a lot of dumb people out there, but I really don't understand why people care that much.
Yeah.
Like, it's an adaptation, and Disney doesn't own the Little Mermaid. It's a fairy tale that
True.
was before. You know what it was? The not my thing, not my genie. So it's Will Smith all over again. But
yeah, they cast her because apparently she's like a really wicked singer.
Yeah, and that's what Ariel was in the story, at least the Disney story. So good. That would be the thing. I would be upset if they cast like, I can't think of a bad singer off the top of my head. I don't know, Seth Rogen.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like that would be the least of the issues in that casting.
No, I could see Seth Rogen, but then as soon as he starts singing, you're just like, you know what? Hashtag not my Ariel. He's just like, oh, Prince Eric. Oh, I love him so much.
I can't even do his laugh. I can hear it. I love it.
Yeah. I have no problem with this girl. I'm sure she's gonna do fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just picturing like, yeah, you know what?
You're picturing Seth Rogen with a tail fin and the purple seashells bra.
Yeah, I don't know. I understand the race thing. You know what? I am glad that like people are upset about characters being cast as different by like actors of different ethnicities.
Okay.
And I'm also glad that like people are upset when they're cast wrong and when they're swapped just for the sake of swapping.
See, I don't think that's the case though. I feel like we've reached the point now where it's not race swapping for the sake of anymore. It's just, and we just cast the best girl for the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything more to say about that?
It sucks because like I'm looking forward to that movie the same way I was looking forward to Aladdin and Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
Probably won't see them, just like Aladdin and Lion King.
I demand to have an opinion because I care. Are you going to go see it? No. But I demand to be heard.
I mean, it's a podcast.
Yeah.
At least 3 people will hear me.
She also joins Jacob Tremblay, who plays Flounder, and Aquafina is playing Scuttle, the seagull.
Who's playing Eric and the...
I don't think they've cast them yet.
This is Sebastian, the crab?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just cast Will Smith as a crab.
Or Dougie Doug. Do you remember him from Cool Runnings?
No.
Sanka?
Nope.
Oh, okay. No. Anyway, that's enough of that.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah. People will love that. Should we talk about Mulan?
Yeah.
Did you watch the trailer for that?
I did.
I loved it.
In that trailer,
yeah,
was there ever a shot where Mulan is depicted as the male?
I don't think so.
It's just a lot, like, I don't remember Mulan very well.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember there being a lot more male portions where she's pretending to be the male soldier.
Yeah.
And like in that trailer, it was a lot of just her flinging a sword around. You notice that? Like
I did.
You think that entire trailer is just like the training montage that they like?
No, I think a lot of it is the climax where it's just like, yeah, I'm a woman, deal with it. Okay, well, first off, let me just tell you why I love this trailer. I love it because it actually looks like they're doing something different.
Yeah, that might be.
Like, I've complained about it with every Disney movie we've talked about where they did the live action remake of it, where it's just they're making a live action remake to cash in and they're just copying the cartoon beat for beat and doing it over. This looks like they're like, here's the story of Mulan, adapt it to however you want. There's certain like things there that like look similar. Like they're like, I think it's the same jade hair.
Yeah, same makeup and costume
comb or whatever that she has, or not jade. Would that be a lily? I guess.
I have no idea.
It's a flower. Jade's not even.
It's not.
It's not a flower at all. But it's the type of material it would be made out of. Anyway, there's like little things like that. Like there's some visuals that are like that's kind of the same, but it looks really grounded. It looks like just a cool story about a girl who takes her father's place in the army.
Honestly, if you didn't had another title for that movie, I'd be fine with it too. It does remind me of Mulan.
In the score, there's a little bit of that, like the reflection song.
Who Nope. Don't
That
remember
one?
that.
You know that one?
Nope.
Should I sing some more? Maybe it'll
Please.
refresh your memory.
That might help.
There's a little bit of that in there, but there's no Mushu. I don't think there's any Lucky Cricket or anything like that. There's no.
How would you feel if they didn't put those two characters in?
I think it would ruin what they're going for.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Because I was like waiting for the dragon. It'd be cool if they do like the very traditional dragon, the traditional Chinese dragon with like the whiskers and like the long flowing mane.
Wasn't that what Mushu was? But he was like
but
tiny
like I don't know when
lizard version.
I just kind of picture them doing like some almost like a salamander looking inspired version.
I don't have a problem that they're omitting it. They're not doing any of the songs either. Like it's not a musical.
Nice. As someone who does not enjoy musicals very much.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
That's like the one I'm legitimately excited for.
Production looks pretty high.
Yeah. It looks really cool. And to go back to what you talked about at the beginning, like, I don't even know if she pretends to be a guy at all in it. She would have to because at the time period.
Time period. And that's kind of part of the story. Like you can't really omit that without changing it a lot.
But she's obviously not during the climax at the end where they're fighting on the mountain.
Maybe that like she does the reveal before the final battle.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, in the Mulan cartoon, she gets wounded in that battle, and that's how they discover she's a woman. Is they go to dress her wounds and be like, "Whoa, boobies! You got the female parts." And then the climax of it is like at the Emperor's palace. But this one, it looks like the climax is at that mountain. Like that's a huge battle. Anyway, it looks awesome. It looks really cool.
I'm pretty excited for it. When's it come out?
I don't know. I probably should have wrote that down. I don't know. In the future, Victor. It's coming out in the future.
Thank you.
Get ready.
That's very helpful.
Sherlock Holmes 3 is happening.
What?
With Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law.
I thought they made 3 already.
No, just 2. And then see what happened was they made 2 and then they were like, okay, we'll do a 3rd one when you got a break from the Marvel movies. And then he just did like 8 in a row. And they're like, oh, okay.
Was that with Paramount or Sony?
I think Dimension Films does them. I don't know who owns it. Maybe Warner Brothers? I think it's Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers makes sense. Ugh. I've only had one meal today. It was a smoothie. Gross. I'm trying to lose weight by starving myself.
That's how the supermodels do it.
Well, no, they eat and then they throw up. See, that would be the smarter way because then you just eat whatever you want. And you just go to town in the toilet, you're good to go. You do the same thing a couple hours later, whatever. Take some supplements. Eat some crackers.
Don't starve yourself if you're listening to this.
Or
it's not a good way to lose weight.
But maybe it is.
It's not, Victor. It's incredibly unhealthy.
But it works, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh. You're the worst. You are the worst. I'm trying to promote a healthy living, healthy lifestyle, Victor.
Tell that to my abs in 6 months. You know what my supper is? These 3 melted ice cubes.
Stupid. Anyway, what were we talking about? Sherlock Holmes 3. It's distributed by Warner Brothers, Victor, to answer your question. And anyway, the news today was that they've hired a director because the guy who did the first 2, I'm blanking on his name.
Steve Wilbert.
No, it's the guy who just did Aladdin. Frick, what's his name?
Jean.
It's the guy who's married to Madonna, or was.
Other Madonna. Jackson Madonna.
Fricktober, can't remember. Anyway, Dexter Fletcher is taking over, who just directed Rocket Man, and he was the secret director on Bohemian Rhapsody after Bryan Singer got fired.
Why was it a secret?
It's not a secret, but it was Bryan Singer got fired before they finished the movie. Dexter Fletcher took over, but because Bryan Singer had done most of the movie, the union rules, the Directors Guild, you can't have more than one director listed on a movie unless it's like a partnership.
Oh, I see.
So you can't have someone like come in and direct half and then someone else directs the other half. Like one of them has to decide who is the director, quote unquote. So Bryan Singer got director's credit for it, even though Dexter Fletcher finished it. In summary.
That makes sense. Is that it for news?
Do you read the Walking Dead comic series?
I do not.
Okay. It ended suddenly this week.
Wait.
Or last week, maybe.
Like suddenly as in they just drop the ending out of nowhere, or were they like, no, we're not gonna write anymore. We're just gonna put the original ending here, which I think is the same thing. Now that I think about
No,
it,
they had planned to end it, and they even like faked it that they were going to continue it on so that people would be surprised when it ended. And so like they even went to like they commissioned art for like covers coming up and stuff like that, which don't exist now. And Robert Kirkman, the creator and writer, said that he always hated it when you knew when the ending was coming, because you kind of you're just your mindset and like your mentality changes about how what you're reading or what you're watching or whatever.
A bit more
like,
judgmental.
a little bit, right? Like you're also a little bit more like, I don't know what his point was per se, but like
You read
I
into it a bit
understand
more.
like the mentality of like it's different if you know it's coming instead of just like, oh, there's another issue and it just ends. So it ended at issue 193.
Do we know how it ends?
It goes into the future a little bit, and Carl is still alive.
What? They killed him off in the show, though.
So.
Yeah, I guess. Fine. I guess
Trust me, the comic series is a lot better than the show was at the end. Or I guess the show's still going, but comic series is a lot better. I haven't read it yet because I'm not caught up to that. I'm around like I'm way behind. I'm like issue like 107 or something like that.
Gotcha.
So anyway, end of an era.
How long has that been going on for? I remember we were still in college when it was started.
Yeah, I have no idea when it started. I was reading it in college, so long time.
Wrong time.
Yeah, because I found the comic through the show, so it must have been around for a while before the show came on. Anyway, that's it for news, Victor. We did it. We did it.
That's a pretty different like week of news considering normally there wasn't a lot of like Marvel stuff.
No, I think it's because Comic-Con is next weekend.
Oh, right.
And so everyone is kind of holding back all their good stuff. And they're just,
we talked about this.
Yeah. So we'll do like a whole episode, I think.
What's the next Marvel movie?
I don't know. They haven't announced anything.
What? Shut the front door.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about Comic-Con when it happens.
You wanna get into the main topic this week?
Let's do it.
So we discussed.
We were like, let's talk about movies because we haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, we never talk about movies. But let's switch it up. Let's pick 3 movies that we like that odds are people have not seen before.
Yeah. This is just like a movie recommendation.
Unless you want to do rock, paper, scissors, who goes first?
I don't care who goes first. So
fine, you go first.
Okay. Okay, my first movie, Victor, is a movie from 1980 called Midnight Madness.
Oh, yeah, I remember this one.
Yeah. I used to have this on my PlayStation, and I would just watch it all the time. I'll just break down the plot real quick. This guy, Leon, takes place at a college. He decides to make a all-night scavenger hunt, and he invites 5 people to participate in the scavenger hunt. And so he calls them all in, explains the rules. He's going to give them a clue that'll lead them to the next clue, and they'll keep going until they reach the prize. By the way, there's no prize. There's no reward for winning. And then so they're allowed to choose teams and stuff and their designated colors, blah, 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 blah. So each one of them decides they're going to do it. Don't know why. There's no incentive to do it. And
bragging rights, Josh. It's college.
Yeah. Anyway, that's besides the point. So there's 5 of them. There's a sorority girl who's the red team. There's a nerd, the white team. There's a frat guy who's the green team. There's the villain, the blue team. And our hero is on the yellow team. And so anyway, they all choose their appropriate teams. And they all decide to do it one way or the other. Some are forced to do it because their dad thinks it's a good idea for them to do it. Other people, it's like, yeah, why not? This will be fun. And then there's other people who are just like, no, it'll be a good experience for you. You should do it.
Wait, is it known to the groups that like there's no prize?
Yeah.
Huh.
They're called in to a meeting. They meet Leon, the game master, who looks like he's a skinny white guy, has giant Coke bottle glasses and big afro.
That sounds awesome.
And like a terrible scraggly beard. Like he looks like if someone was to be like, hey, what do you think like someone who plays Dungeons and Dragons in the 70s looks like? he looks like that.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, he has these two gorgeous women as his assistants. Don't know how he pulled that off because he looks kind of terrible. Doesn't have great social skills, but everyone like reveres him. Like it's like, oh, it's Leon, the game master.
Maybe that's how. The
Maybe that's
reputation.
how. He's got a good rep, I guess. So anyway, he invites them all. They all select their teams, and the entire movie is just them competing in the scavenger hunt. And the movie is just, it is the right amount of wholesome, cheesy fun that it's charming. It's just the right amount of bad where it's like there's one-dimensional characters. There's a character named Barf in it. Like there's
Does he barf?
No, that's just his name.
Dang it.
Like there's the frat guy group. There's one of the clues leads them to a brewery at one point, and a frat guy just dives into a giant tank of beer.
Yeah, because they have that there.
Yeah.
Totally common.
It's usually just an open vat like that. And he dives into it, and later on they come back and they open the valve at the bottom, and he comes out and he's drank all the beer. Like it's that kind of humor. There's one point where they have to unscramble letters, and there's one guy who legitimately thinks the word is fagabeefy. What is also great about this movie is that it is the highest, lowest stakes game that I've ever seen. Like everyone is so invested in this game, but there's no prize. Like there's a guy who bought a whole utility van that is filled with high-tech equipment, like the highest tech. Like he has a computer where you input the code and it immediately tells you what the answer is.
Oh. So it's like Batman supercomputer.
There's one point where they kidnap a kid and interrogate him for clues.
That seems like a lot.
This movie's so ridiculous, but everyone is taking it so seriously. It's also the very first movie appearance of Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
He's playing a 15-year-old kid named Scott. He is the brother of the hero, and he ends up being on the yellow team. He so wants to like be like his brother.
Yeah.
But his brother's like, he sees him as a little kid. And so he's like, get out of here, kid. And like, I'm always having to look after you. I'm so upset with you. You're always running off. Ugh. And the girlfriend of the hero is like, no, he has value. He ends up helping them on the last clue, which is completing a game of Starfighter or something like that at the arcade.
Does that seem like a terrible way to like, I guess, terrible challenge for a clue? Like a video game?
That's not, who cares? Who cares?
I'm just saying.
But the point is, Scott is able to beat the game at that point. But
classic Michael J. Fox.
But Michael J. Fox is so good in this. Like everyone else is just like, they are the caliber of actor, or at least they're doing the caliber of acting that you would expect from a movie like this.
Yeah. And
Michael J. Fox is so good that even at the young age he is, you're just like, man, he's going to be a star one day. Like he is great. Like he is 100% believable. And I found out today, because the movie is mostly shot at night.
Yeah.
They couldn't hire a kid to play
because
Scott.
curfew?
So I actually thought he was 15 years old in this movie. He's like 18 and he's playing a 15-year-old, but he looks convincingly enough like a 15-year-old.
That's believable.
Yeah.
Like Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this movie's real dumb, but I love it.
Is that 1980?
1980. So there are some people in it who you may recognize. Stephen Furst plays the villain. He played Flounder in Animal House. Did you ever see Animal House?
I did not.
Oh, okay, never mind then. Yeah, the hero is the guy from American Werewolf in London. There's one guy, Eddie Dizon. He plays the nerd. I don't think you would know where you know him from, but like he has these giant Coke bottle glasses and has this big kind of crooked grin. He kind of talks like a cartoon character. He's like, "Say, what's the big idea?"
Oh, wasn't expecting that voice.
Yeah.
In Will's description, I was picturing a guy who plays Hellboy, the old original Hellboy.
Ron Perlman?
That's what I was picturing when you're describing it. Ron Perlman with those giant Coke
Yeah, Ron glasses. Perlman played the nerd in this movie. No, it was Eddie Dizon who played him. But anyway, Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, he plays the arcade owner.
I believe that.
And
that sounds right.
He has one with his lamest lines in it where he comes up, he has a quarter dispenser, but it's in the form of like a 6-shooter because he's dressed as a cowboy. And he goes, "Bang! Did I scare you?" That was that is the level of wittiness of this movie.
I like to think that that's the only line he has in the movie.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, this movie is just a special kind of ridiculous. It's a bad movie, but it's kind of like a fun bad. But it's not like bad like you're laughing at how terrible it's made. It's just the tone is very like it's like it's aimed for kids almost, but it's
like a goofy live action.
It's just so absurd that you're kind of laughing at it. It's not like The Room where it's just like badly made and you're like, ha ha ha, how stupid they are for making this. It's like it's just goofy.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my first one, Midnight Madness.
I feel like I've watched you, or I've walked in and you watching that a few times. But like, I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's great.
I'll find it. Because that sounds like a movie I would watch while I'm working.
And then the frat boys, they're called Meat Machine, and they have a chant they do. Where they're always like, MEATMACHINE, Meat Machine, Meat Machine, yeah! Yeah. That movie's so dumb.
I see it. I believe it.
I mean, it's okay, but not a lot of people have seen it. It's Michael J. Fox's first movie.
Well, my movie, 1990, it's a Chinese movie. It's Cantonese to be exact, but it's called All for the Winner / Saint of Gambling, depending on where you're getting the title from.
Okay.
It's one of Stephen Chow's first movies. You may know him from like Kung Fu Hustle, Shaolin Soccer.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I've seen Kung Fu Hustle.
So this is like one of his first, I'd say, like maybe like the third or fourth movie he's done. And it's pretty stupid in terms of its humor. Like it's similar to Shaolin Soccer, but a little bit more crude. It's about a guy who has kind of supernatural powers. He can see like through specific objects. He can manipulate things like changing faces of cards or like numbers on a ticket.
Okay.
And for most of his life, he's kind of run pretty straight and honest. But then his uncle, who he's visiting, who's played by what's his name? Ingman, which is like he plays, I think, the uncle or like the coach in Shaolin Soccer.
I've never seen Shaolin Soccer.
He's like the guy. He's always in Stephen Chow's movies. He's like the older dude.
Oh, okay.
He's like they're like partners. And when his uncle finds out that he has these powers, he like introduces him into like the world of gambling. And then you basically just like the entire movie is just following him cheating at casinos and just winning ridiculous amounts of money.
I imagine like it's kind of the usual story of like he's really into it at first and maybe he doesn't like it so much. And then
he's kind of naive and very innocent.
Yeah.
So like
sounds like it.
So like he's kind of like a fish out of the water in like that gambling world. Mm-hmm. So he's not used to being like all dressed up and stuff. But then there's like a little side story of like he meets a woman.
It's always a woman. And
she's like I haven't seen the movie in a while, but like she's probably some gangster or whatever group. And her name's Yi-moon.
Okay.
I don't know if this movie is actually in English, which is why I put this on the list. I haven't found like a dubbed version of it. Whenever I watch it, it's always subbed English.
Okay.
So it's also where I improved my English as a child.
Oh. You mean improved your English? Oh, and your reading skills, you mean?
Yeah, English is my second language, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
I learned something today.
I'm surprised you didn't know that.
I mean, I knew you spoke Cantonese, Mandarin.
Cantonese.
You had to think about that for a second. Does it count as your second language if you have to think about what was your first language?
Well, like, I used to be very fluent in Cantonese, but like after the age of 5, when I started going to like school,
hanging out with white kids.
Yeah. Just ruined me.
Yeah.
Just took the culture out of me. But anyways, he meets a girl. He tries to impress her because she's part of this gambling group. And that's kind of like when his powers really like show through. And there's a plot where she gets kidnapped and then his powers like he gets discouraged and his powers slowly like kind of like fade away.
Oh.
And like the main plot of the story, she's basically going up trying to beat the king of gambling, who's this weird old crippled dude with like double crutches, and like he has to have like a little thing on his throat to like talk, but it's like a robotic voice.
Oh yeah. What are those called again? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, probably doesn't matter.
Do you like to play a game?
It's a really silly movie, and like it's kind of where I got like majority of my humor as a child. Like none of it's really dirty, but like there's a lot of just goofy,
There's a lot
over
of
the top
sight gags. Like I remember Kung Fu Hustle was a lot of like
Yeah.
it was just kind of absurd humor and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of movie references. But I guess that was Kung Fu Hustle.
Not so much the movie references, but there's definitely like, yeah, a lot of like sight gags and just shit. What's that called?
Slapstick.
I like that you got that from that hand gesture. Yeah, there's like a lot of like that kind of like slapstick humor in it. And yeah.
Okay.
It was one of those, I think it was one of those that like I watched probably like 50 times as a kid, but then have never watched again.
And what was it called again?
All for the Winner or Saint of Gambling.
Okay.
Fun fact, you can find this on YouTube, like the whole movie.
For freezies?
For freezies. Maybe something to watch.
Something to watch.
But it's subbed.
You have to read it.
You're gonna have to read it. So it's not one of the movies you can just put in the background. I mean,
you know what? That's interesting.
You probably could though. You probably could. You'd probably figure out what's going on.
No. I've tried it before. You miss half the dialogue. That's funny. I was gonna choose a foreign film for my one of my movies, but then I was like, maybe not. So I didn't. But it's interesting you did.
I figured I'd have to.
All for the Winner? That's what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. I got another one, Victor. My second movie is called Locke. It stars Tom Hardy. Came out in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
It stars Tom Hardy, as I said. But he's playing a guy named Ivan Locke, who is this construction company manager who's like on the eve of this big project. And he suddenly leaves to go deal with a quote unquote family emergency. There's not much to the plot, so I won't really say more than that. But basically, the kind of gimmick of this movie is it takes place entirely in the car, and it's all just one road trip.
That's cool.
So it's not done in one shot, but it's done kind of in real time.
But they don't leave the car at all?
They don't leave the car.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so it's just Tom Hardy in the car, and every character he interacts with is over the speakerphone. So he's calling people as he's going, because he just suddenly left. So like he's calling like the next person in charge for his company and being like, listen, man, I had to leave. You're in charge. And it's like a huge deal. Like they're doing like they're like building some municipal building or something like that the next day. And like he's supposed to be there to lay the foundation, and he just took off. And so he's like trying to get like the next guy to do it for him. And he's like, no, you're not listening. Like, I'm not coming back. Like, you're in charge now. And so there's that part of it. And then there's him talking with his wife and like the family that's having the issue and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just really well done. And it's all about Tom Hardy's performance, basically, because.
You think is that one of the movies he's known for?
I don't know if it is or not.
Because I know like Tom Hardy's like known for like his acting and like how great he is. This sounds like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air version, where like you know how Will Smith basically used Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to basically demonstrate and to show off his acting prowess.
Okay,
is that the same thing? Is that the same thing for this movie for Tom Hardy?
I think it was just a cool idea, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm down. I'll do it."
Oh, okay. So he was already like well known at this point.
Yeah, it's 2013. So
right.
So that would have been. Yeah, that's after Dark Knight Rises.
2012, right?
Same year as Avengers. So yeah, 2012.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, like this is a small movie. Actually, Tom Holland is in it. He plays his son. It's his voice. Olivia Colman, I think, plays his wife. She just won the Oscar this past year for playing the Queen. Yeah, it's just a really well acted movie, and like not the mystery of the plot, but like the plot unraveling, and you kind of with him on his road trip while he's doing this. It's really interesting. Really well acted movie. And there's not much I can really say about it. Like if the gimmick and the actor doesn't pull you in, then there's not much that will.
I add that to the list.
Yeah. So Locke.
L-O-C-K or is L-O-C-K-E?
E. So it's his name, right? So it's, yeah.
I think he's so cool. Yeah, I feel like I've seen that. I feel like I've heard of it. And I feel like I've looked into it, but like, you know what? That was probably one of our Blockbuster trips. No way, it wouldn't have been. 2013. No, because we graduated. Blockbuster closed before that.
No, it was still around when we lived there, right? Didn't it close down?
No, it closed down before.
Oh, right. That would have been last year. Yeah, no. It was not in one of our Blockbuster trips.
Never mind then. You know, I still think about our trips down to Blockbuster.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. Specifically that one we spent 2 hours down there trying to find a movie, but then we realized, you know what? We spent the duration of a movie down here. That's enough.
Really? It was 2 hours?
Yeah. Or it was like an hour and like 35 or 30 or whatever.
Sometimes it's hard to decide on watching a movie. It
was so bad we walked into the horror section.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of turning on Netflix and not knowing what you're watching.
Except now it just tells you things you would like to watch. Picks for you, Victor, because
I find that's never right.
Oh, no, it's never.
It's like, hey, because you watch Seinfeld, here's Saw 7. And you're like, what?
You know what pisses me off about Netflix? Sometimes it gets rid of the continue watching. I go in and it's not there. It's just not an option. And I have to search Brooklyn Nine-Nine like an idiot.
And I don't know how to spell.
Why isn't this automated for me? Like every other time.
Anyway,
but yeah, Lock. 2013.
Yeah.
So my second movie, year 2000, called Versus. Actually, wait, do you remember this movie?
I think I do. It's not in my head. I'm picturing a poster of Jason Statham and Jet Li, but it's not that.
It's so far
I feel like that's Cradle to the Grave.
It is. Which is also a fairly enjoyable movie.
I don't know about that. But
so this movie is also on YouTube in its entirety for free. It's about a convict. I had to write down the plot because
yeah, you have a memory of a goldfish.
No, this movie is like, the plot is, I could sum it up in one sentence, but
okay.
For the sake of this, I won't. It's about some escaped convicts. This takes place in Japan. They end up outside of the suicide forest and they meet up with a group of gangsters who are supposed to be picking them up. But with them is a girl that they've kidnapped. And prisoner KSC2, they don't really, no one in this movie has a name. Okay. It's either the girl, the guy, gangster 1, gangster 2, whatever.
Yeah.
Decides to save the girl and ends up killing one of the gangsters. And then there's a big standoff between the other 4 remaining gangsters and the prisoner. But then, like, this isn't really spoilers. This is kind of like all in the trailers and stuff. But like, partway through that standoff, the guy that was killed, he gets back up. He reanimates. He's a zombie. And he straight just like turns on, and like he has like superhuman strength, and it turns into like a zombie flick pretty quick.
Yeah, as you do.
And then the entire movie is basically them, because after that conflict, the prisoner and the girl, they run into the forest, not knowing where they are. And that forest is where those gangsters have always buried their bodies. And just for some reason now they've all started to like pop up. And it's just this movie is basically an excuse to show off like fighting and action sequences.
Okay. So is it kind of like the Raid?
Kind of, but definitely a little bit goofier. The comedy in this, yeah, it's a comedy. The humor.
I was in my head, I was picturing it as like really serious. And then it's just like, surprise zombie movie.
You know what? It could be taken as a serious movie, but then the way the characters deliver their lines and act turns into a comedy.
But I assume it's Japanese because it takes place in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Japanese actors tend to overact in a way that we find goofy. Like we as North Americans.
No, this is beyond that.
Okay.
This is definitely over the line of comedy for sure.
Okay.
Like there's like the gangsters. There's the one guy that's like super skittish and like kind of a coward. Mm-hmm. Then you have like your badass like sunglass wearing like long hair over the eyes guy. And then there's one dude that's like, he's the leader, but he's kind of like crazy. So he's like very stereotypical like archetypes for these characters. But the reason I was interested in this movie initially was when Devil May Cry 3 came out.
Oh, of course. This is part of the podcast where everyone tunes in.
Well, the action director for Devil May Cry, this was his first movie that he directed, or he coordinated the action for.
Okay.
And they're like, it's so over the top. It's so awesome. This is not a great movie.
Okay.
But it's very entertaining to watch. Yeah. And you find out later on that like there's 666 portals on Earth that go to hell. And the suicide forest is number 444, which in Chinese, it's 4 is basically, it sounds like the word die. So it's like die forest.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But
Yeah.
it's a Japanese movie.
Yes. I'm sure there's some similarity to that in Japanese too.
Okay.
But I don't care enough to look that up. So you tell me.
All right.
But yeah.
What was that called? Versus?
Versus. And the poster is, it's a white background, dude, black and white, back to the camera with a sword in hand and a gun in the other.
Of course you dug that.
It's
It's like they made it specifically for you.
pretty much.
When did that come out again? What was the year?
2000.
2000. Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as they mentioned that, like, this was one of his movies in like one of the interviews I was reading for Devil May Cry 3, I was like, all right, gonna watch that. I ordered the DVD from Japan.
Oh boy. So the creature effects in it, like the zombies, are they good?
They're acceptable. Like, they're like gray skin.
Okay.
Yeah, they're painted gray skin.
But I assume there's
blood, there's gore.
There's sight gags for like deaths and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
They good?
Yeah.
I should hope so. Well, Victor,
Let me know if you watch it, because I think you would.
I'll tell you right now, I'm absolutely not going to. That is not up my alley whatsoever. But yeah, that sounds interesting though.
Yeah,
if you're into that,
it's a very me movie.
Yeah, that is you in a nutshell. Okay, so my last movie, it came out in 1989. It's called Parenthood. So it's a drama, or a dramedy. It's a comedy drama directed by Ron Howard. Stars Steve Martin, and it's about this a multi-generational family, and just kind of like the struggles that they go through as parents.
Mm-hmm.
So Steve Martin, he has like 3 kids, and his oldest son, he has like anxiety issues at like 13. Like he gets stressed out over things, and so it's like him kind of dealing with that. And he has a sister played by Diane Wiest, whose son, played by a young Joaquin Phoenix, just is completely removed. Like all he does is he comes home and he goes in his room and locks the door, and that's it. And
sounds like my childhood.
What's that?
Sounds like my childhood. Anyways,
for those of you who have seen the movie, no, never mind. Turns out he's masturbating a lot. That's what the.
I stand by what I said.
And she also has a teenage daughter who's like nearing the end of high school, and has fallen in love with a boy played by Keanu Reeves.
Oh,
and is just like making all like the dumb we're doing it for love decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I'm gonna quit high school and we're gonna fall on him in his painting business. And
makes sense.
And it's like, so there's that. He has Steve Martin has another sister who is married to Rick Moranis.
Mm-hmm.
They have a daughter who's about 3 or 4 or something like that. And he is really into like her education and making her the best person possible, like getting an early start for college. So like he has made her incredibly smart, and like they're always eating healthy food and stuff like that. And like she at 3 knows the square root of 687 or something like that.
That seems unnecessary.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point. And so she's kind of struggling with, because he's concentrating so much on their being a parent, that she is being forgotten as a wife. And then they have one other brother played by Tom Hulce, who's kind of like the dirtbag youngest brother who gets into trouble a lot and always seems to get out of it. And
so very like different ends of the spectrum for these characters.
Yeah. And then it also talks about their parents and yeah, but it's just a really interesting movie because it just deals with all these different situations as far as being a parent and like, how do you deal with that? Like Diane Wiest's character is a single mom, and so she's struggling trying to connect to her son, who always goes into his room, because there isn't a man in the house anymore. She doesn't know how to deal with that at all. And then Steve Martin's character, Gil, is trying to connect with his son to try to save him from his stress and anxiety. He's also dealing with the fact that when he was a kid, he was very stressed out and had a lot of anxiety, mainly because of the way his father treated him, who's still in the picture. And like, it's kind of like one of those movies where not a lot happens in it, but you're there because you you like the characters and it's more about like the interactions between them all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like plot does happen, like people lose their jobs and, you know, I don't know. I can't think of an example now, but like you find out why Joaquin Phoenix is always going into his room, and you find out why the kid is stressed out all the time. And it's really just about like
It's like a
struggling
character,
as a
yeah.
parent and realizing it never ends as a parent. You're always a parent after you have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And even you have to be a parent when you become a grandparent, like you're still a parent. I really liked it because I watched it as a kid, and like the kids are funny and cute. And so like I connected with them. And then as I grew up watching the movie, like I connected with the next generation each time.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm in the parent section. And so I really connect with the movie because that's the purpose of the movie. So I really connect with the parents in it. And I'm sure if I watch this when I'm a grandparent, I'll be like, man, they really got it.
I'm just looking at pictures of like parenthood because like all these young actors you're talking about. Joaquin Phoenix looks very different for me.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have recognized him.
He's actually credited as Leaf Phoenix in this movie.
Leaf?
Yeah. I'm not sure which is the real name or not, but he had an older brother named River Phoenix who passed away when he was about 22 or 23 or something like that. But
I would assume Leaf is the.
yeah, I was reading about it today. Apparently, their family was like involved in a cult as they were growing up.
Makes sense.
And he was actually homeless when he was cast in this movie.
Whoa.
And so that was probably a big break for him. But anyway.
Oh my God. Keanu Reeves and the center part. I dig it.
Oh yeah. That's after about midway through the movie, he and the daughter, they shave their heads into mohawks.
Of course. Who's the daughter again?
She's played by an actress called Martha Plimpton.
Okay.
Anyway, it's like an all-star cast. Diane Wiest was nominated for an Oscar for her performance in it as the sister. She was always my favorite character in it too. Made sense. She was just a great.
Diane Wiest. What else? Helen Buckman?
Yeah.
What else has she been in?
Lots of Woody Allen movies. She's currently in a show called Life in Pieces. She plays the grandmother in that. But anyway, Parenthood actually spawned 2 TV shows, both of the same name. One right after the movie came out that actually starred Leonardo DiCaprio.
Wow, they just grabbing actors, actors left and right here.
This was before, like this is when he was a kid. He played the same character that Joaquin Phoenix played.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks similar enough.
And then that one only lasted like 12 episodes, but then there was a second one that came out, I want to say 2013 or something, that had like 6 seasons that like Dax Shepard was on.
Dax Shepard. How does that sound familiar?
He's the armchair expert podcast guy. Armchair expert? Is that what it's called?
I've never heard of that.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
Anyways, whatever.
So yeah, I just really like the movie. It's really funny at times. And it has a cool message at the end of it, which I won't spoil, but there's a definitive moment where Gil has a breakthrough, basically. And it's a cool way that they do it. So I won't ruin it. But yeah, I really enjoyed the movie.
Add that to the list.
That movie is probably in the top like 15 favorite movies of all time for me.
Oh, all right.
Like just out of like pure rewatchability and what I get out of it every time. It's up there.
Top 15. People might be like, you know what, it's not top 10, but like top 15 for someone who's watched as many movies as you have. That's that says something.
Yeah, I've watched a lot. Anyway, Victor, you got one more movie?
I got one more. Oh, so I've done all these in chronological order. No, in case you're like, oh, is he doing like best to worst or worst to best?
No.
But good. This one is this is actually what gave me the idea for this one this week. It's And Then There Were None, done 2015. It's a 3-part miniseries on BBC.
This isn't a movie, Victor.
It isn't, but it's like a movie.
You talked about this.
Yeah,
last week.
It's similar to. It's got the same concept for Knives Out.
Oh, okay.
Remember that Chris Evans movie?
The Who Done It.
Yeah, the Who Done It. But it's based off the book of the same name by Agatha Christie.
Oh, it was an Agatha Christie book.
Yes.
Okay, because we weren't sure last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that sounds like an Agatha.
And
Christie.
it's one of those shows or movies that like I read the book first before I went and watched it, which is very rare. The other one being The Martian that I can think of top off my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wish I could do that for more movies I've seen.
Yeah, but you don't know how to read, so I mean, it's difficult.
What? Audiobooks, they just read it to you. It's fantastic. But it's one of those movies where like, well, the plot is 10 strangers get invited to an island for dinner, but with very personal letters. Not like, hey, you know what? You've won a trip to this island for a mystery dinner. No, like, hey, George, like it's a long time no talk. It'd be nice to see you again. Please come by for dinner at this date. And everyone had like a very personalized letter. No one there knew each other. There were some people, like there was a doctor there that was very well known, but like for the most part, no one knew each other. On the first night after dinner, someone gets murdered.
Who's the first murder?
Don't remember.
Oh, okay.
It was one of the maids. It's one of the maids who is also on the guest list.
It's always the butler who did it.
There's no butler there.
Are you sure?
It's a hidden butler. This story has been told, I think, 2 other times. There's one done, I think, probably in the 70s and then one in the 80s. But this one, I've watched them all. I think this one probably has the best interpretation of it.
The 3-episode miniseries.
Mm-hmm. And it has, I think it's the coolest aesthetic to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Charles Dance, who was in Game of Thrones. Toby Stevens. He plays.
I recognize the name. I can't place his face.
Maeve Dermody. Is that? I'm probably butchering her name. She's an Australian actress.
Charles Dance. He was also the bad guy in Last Action Hero.
Yeah, this guy just plays bad guys.
So
all around.
He's the killer.
Probably not, but probably. But maybe not. Miranda Richardson.
Oh, okay, I know who that is.
Sam Neill.
Huh? Sam Neill. Really?
Oh, he's the general. Aidan Turner. Does that sound familiar?
No.
Bern Gorman. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I'd say like for TV series, I think this is probably one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah. One of my friends, she brought it over and we watched the whole thing in like a night. So it felt like a movie.
Okay. That's fair.
Not really.
Yeah, but. I guess with like binge culture, like watching 3 hours.
But it's not like, oh, this is the first episode and here's the ending. Here's the beginning. They kind of just, if you watched it in like one sitting, you wouldn't be able to tell they were like 3 episodes done.
Oh, okay.
But watching that again got me really excited for Knives Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch it again this week?
Yeah. It was the only one of all the 3 of them I watched again.
I planned on watching some of these again, but just didn't. No, I had a lot of work to do this week. I had to work
same.
late.
I wanted to watch Versus and All for the Winter. That's a stupid name. Watch them especially because they're free. They're free on YouTube. But yeah, that's my 3rd movie.
Cool. That was fun.
Yeah.
We should do that again some other time.
I think we should.
Do 3 more.
We should make you do some 4 movies. Because I'm sure you have some 4 movies under your belt somewhere.
Yeah, I've got some good ones.
Oh.
Good ones. I was going to do a foreign movie for my list, but then I put in lock at the last second.
Wow, what would did you have another one that you were like thinking of putting in? What was it? Or do you want to save that for next time?
You know what? I'll save it. Yeah. Because I'll put it in the next time.
Dang it. Fine. All right. Good. Great. I'm glad you chose that option. Should we wrap up there?
Might as well. It's next week. What are we doing? Stranger Things?
Yeah. Oh, have you watched any of the Stranger Things?
I finished the first episode of season 3. I finally caught up. I was rewatching the first 2 seasons and I just got to the 3rd season last night.
I won't lie. I may have skipped out on the last half of season 2.
Oh yeah.
Because
just not enough time.
It's not enough time. And like, I didn't like season 2 that much.
Oh, okay.
There was there's the
we'll talk about that next week.
But anyways, yeah, I like season 3 so far. It's cool.
I've only seen the first episode, so I can't really judge it. I know like the tone is a lot jokier, but we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. That's been our top 3 movies that you probably haven't seen.
I know I've actually not seen any of Victor's movies. I was expecting to have seen at least one of them.
Nice.
Wait, what were they again? No, I haven't seen them.
Yeah. You know what? If you have any movies that you don't think people have seen, comment below. And if you want to get in touch with us directly, you can email us at averageuninformed@gmail.com. And next week we'll talk about Stranger Things season 3.
And probably just Stranger Things on the whole.
Yeah, actually we're just going to do, the whole thing. Why not?
Yeah.
Anyways, bye.